War or peace? Which does science serve best? Tesla described himself not as an inventor, but as a discoverer. But with discovery comes responsibility. Tesla knew this when he developed HAARP technology, and many think that his fear of what might happen if HAARP fell into the wrong hands motivated him to keep his discovery under wraps.
HAARP exists because Tesla theorized back in the 30s that he would be able to stimulate the magnetic field of the Earth in such a way that he would actually be able to create a shield around the city. HAARP is basically a design experiment in terms of atmospheric physics where a large array of antennas, it's not just one antenna, it's a very large array, it covers several acres, are broadcasting into the ionosphere of the planet a very, very complex series of waveforms. And these waveforms are designed to specifically couple in with the ionosphere, which is a resonant cavity.
This concept involves heating up the ionosphere in a manner similar to a giant microwave oven.
That a small input, like a pulse of a certain number of watts in, can create a large output, because whether accidentally or intentionally, it's possible to tap into this sea of energy around us. It surrounds us and goes through our bodies and is everywhere throughout space.
HAARP's original designer conceives it as a shield for missile defense that can fry the circuitry of incoming bombs.
HAARP was designed for a number of applications. It really was not set up as a weapon. If you read the patents, I was thinking of ways to use it defensively.
He also claims that by superheating portions of the upper atmosphere, HAARP can affect global weather patterns, a concept Tesla was ridiculed for nearly a century earlier.
While we feel that HAARP is a unique facility, it's not the only one like it in the world. HAARP has some capabilities that we feel are better than some of the others. You can change the frequencies, you can shift the beam so that you can move it from one part of the ionosphere to another, and it has quite a bit more power than some of the other facilities throughout the world that are doing the same kinds of research.
I chose what's called a phased array antenna for the patents because it can be aimed. Picture holding your microwave oven in your hands with the door open. Then you can move it around and send those microwaves different directions. And for these applications where I wanted precise control of where the power was, I felt that was the best type of antenna to use. And that is the kind that HAARP has built. There were some other ideas, both to possibly modify weather and finally to lift a portion of the upper atmosphere further out into space. It is possible with a big beam to take a part of that upper atmosphere and push it out for it.
What they're not paying any attention to is what's happening to the ionosphere while it's being held 80 miles out into space by this high energy beam.
In certain applications, the military acknowledges that it can literally lift the ionosphere. And what they say is, it's not a problem, it's a short period of time, yet when you lift the ionosphere up, the lower atmosphere rushes in and fills that void, which changes localized weather patterns.
Heavy rain and flooding have already caused severe damage in Southern California, and they are bracing now for possible mudslides. Early Show national correspondent Hattie Kaufman is in La Crescenta, she joins us from there this morning. Hattie, good morning.
Good morning, Erica. Just months ago, this place was hit with wildfires, and now residents have erected barriers that they hope will prevent mudslides from threatening their homes.
This after that heavy weather has moved in.
The second of a week-long series of storms dumped more than 6 inches of rain on Los Angeles County. And with the forecast for more heavy rain on the way, officials are ordering hundreds to evacuate from neighborhoods left vulnerable by...
Tornado, baby! Tornado!
In Orange County, south of L.A., there was a tornado warning. Amateur photographers captured what appears to be a white funnel cloud.
I saw the first roof blow off over here and spiral up, and then the second one started to tear, and it blew all the way up across the street.
It tossed an SUV on its side, blew out windows in this home.
In Burbank, 2 Southwest Airlines planes were struck by lightning as they landed. The strike left 2 passengers feeling so numb they had to be hospitalized.
Heavy rain continues to fall, and more than 1,200 homes remain under evacuation due to the mudslides. And in the mountain areas, snow is the problem there, with up to 5 feet falling in some parts.
The weather isn't much different in Arizona. Downpours throughout the state causing heavy flooding there. One town was hit with a 2-foot surge of water, pushing cars and trucks off the road. Meanwhile, in Flagstaff, snow is the problem. As much as 3 feet already on the ground, and they're expecting 2 more by Saturday.
Well, we're pretty lucky here. We're getting nice weather. In the meantime,
Really nice weather.
we'll talk about the Jets. Yeah, the Jets. You know, New York is known for a lot of.
We are seeing more and more disasters. You have to watch the news. You have to notice these things. You can't just take Prozac and forget about it, and the next day you see the whole Ohio River Valley was just flooded. Billions of dollars of damage. Thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people left without homes. And they actually say that they can make weather. Well, tell me, have you noticed any good weather here lately?
The idea of affecting weather for many people, it gets to the point where you say, well, you know, can that even be real? And when you go back in time, even to 1976, the United States, along with over 60 other countries, signed an accord where we agreed to not use weather manipulation as a weapon of war. This is before biological and chemical treaties, before many of the nuclear disarmament treaties, and yet that was such a big threat in '76.
So HAARP is purely a research facility?
Yes.
So then what is the military doing there? Why is there so much military investment?
Well, as basically the military was involved because there was a, well, let me buzz. There was a, well, let me buzz. There was a, well, let me back up and say the location of HAARP was actually picked because that property was actually belonged to the U.S. Air Force, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so that site was actually a suitable location for that, and I believe that's one of the reasons of the military's involvement in this, you know, the HAARP program.
I'm not allowed to know, but it's, you know, it is what it is.
The entire periphery of the Caribbean Sea is a tectonic plate boundary.
Yeah,
there are major earthquakes there all the time.
You know, a lot of people say now look at the Caribbean to go during the, you know, the winter months. We're talking about there was an earthquake in the Cayman Islands, right?
And that fault, it's a different fault than the earthquakes today in Haiti. But it is a very significant fault. It's a fault which in the year 1692 had an earthquake in the Jamaica area that completely submerged the town. It is a major and dangerous fault plate boundary, similar to the ones in California. Well, looked at the Cayman Island earthquake, the one that happened a few days ago. It's possible that it was induced by the Haiti earthquake, but it doesn't fit the typical pattern as far as we know it. And truthfully, we don't know very much about how one earthquake sets off another. But what we can say is when we look at the Cayman Island region, there have been 19 earthquakes of significant size in the last 30 years.
You think people will buy this?
Why not? This is the BTN. Our job is to report the news, not fabricate it. That's the government's job.